All right, what is up, crew? Welcome back into Side Hustle Network channel, where we talk about all things side hustles, mainly focused on reselling. Today's topic is going to be centered around online arbitrage in the FBA world with none other than Mr. Chris Grant, who's been on the channel several times. Thank you for your time again, my friend. How is your evening so far?
It's fantastic. Fantastic. It's gonna warm back up here in Florida. Falling iguana warning is gonna go away.
Was that 50 degrees?
It's actually, so when I woke up this morning, it was like 35.
Ooh, okay. So you got actual little chilly going on.
Yeah, it was. I could actually wipe a little bit of frost off the truck window.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been around. You know what it's like to have to scrape with your credit card the ice off the windshield. I just had to do that a couple days ago.
I used to, in the wintertime, I used to make sure that I had, rubbing alcohol in a little squirt bottle so I could get my key in the car door, So, yeah, I know the struggle.
That's why you went to Florida to begin with.
Pretty much.
Cool. How's everyone doing in the chat tonight? Let us know if audio is crystal clear. Also, let me know if Trista's taping is too loud out there. She's finishing up a massive shipment. We just finished 1,000 units of socks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she's out there boxing right now. So if the tape gun is too much, please let me know.
Yeah, I don't hear anything.
All right, cool. Yeah, we learned real quick when I do videos, I have to shut the door. There's a couple videos I did where all you hear is just like 2 or 3 tape guns going out there at one time. Oh, man. Oh, Freddie, who's like dead center New York, 24 inches. That's just seeing the news about what's going on over there. Just like we deal with a lot of rain over here, but I'm very thankful we don't deal with snow. Like we had snow last week, literally for half a day. We had about 2 inches, and then it was gone the next day. Because
wow,
that's our snow.
I mean, as a teenager, and I don't think teenagers really do this anymore, but as a teenager, I loved the snow because I made a ton of money. And we were like the only ones in my neighborhood who'd go out and shovel snow.
Oh man!
Now
so you've been doing the side hustle gig for a while, then.
Yeah, and so get this. I even had my sales game on point back then. So me and my brothers would go up to the front door with our shovels in hand, all right, and we'd say, "Hey, we'd love to shovel your driveway, make sure everything's good for you. We'll get some de-icer on there." And then as soon as they said yes to our fee, we pulled out the snow blower and snow blowed their driveway, cleaned everything up, and we were done in 10 minutes.
Dang. And in my head immediately went to scalability too. It's like you get a team involved and oh man, that's amazing.
Yeah, I should have never been out there. I should have just had them do it after I taught them what to do.
That's too funny. It's like Gary Vee's story about when he figured out what lemonade stand locations worked. He just recruited his friends to go out and host them. Oh man, that's awesome. All right, sweet. Welcome in, crew. What's up, Pat? So we got some good people up here tonight. We're going to talk about online arbitrage, specifically where we are in Q1, going into Q2, kind of scaling this year. Obviously, the market has kind of changed over the last year and a half. And one of the key things, too, I think this year to keep an eye out for is all these retailers that are doing a lot more online sales. Not just selling products, but actual physical, 20%. I just got an email this morning from one of the sites I shop at frequently. They had 20% off. And this is a site that doesn't do 20% off too often. So keep an eye out for those types of sales. I think is going to be a crucial one. And we can go any direction you guys want. We're here for you. Chris obviously is the master at OA, tactical arbitrage, Keepa. So I don't know if Chris has any screen sharing stuff that we're literally just we had no previous conversation about what he should be prepared for. So if you guys want to see any Keepa stuff, if you want to talk online arbitrage manual sourcing that doesn't involve using something like tactical arbitrage, we can discuss a couple options like that. We're here for you guys to help you focus on OA, different tips and strategies that we've done, currently are doing. And obviously I run a prep center as well. Most of you guys know that. So we work with several large volume sellers that do online arbitrage. and I've seen kind of the ins and outs on how they order. So I can give you guys some sneak peeks on some of that stuff too. So if you guys have questions, drop those in the chat. We'll make a little list here and we'll go for it.
Yeah,
Thanks for being on here.
Absolutely. I'm glad to do it. It's been, but while everyone gets questions going and things like that, maybe we should start off with like news. And I mean, it has been a busy news week for Amazon,
especially the last 24 hours, right?
Oh my goodness. I mean, so we've got the insurance thing that came out. Okay. So it seems like Amazon's going to start hitting people for insurance, which that's good. I'm not upset about that. We've got Amazon did their first over $100 billion in sales in a quarter. Actually, I think it was like 142. They blew it out of the water. I mean, just crushed it. They doubled earnings per share. Jeff is stepping down.
That was a shocker.
I couldn't believe it. I'm not surprised. These guys make billions and hundreds of billions of dollars, and then they get bored and they want to go and kind of do things for the world. It seems
that's a common theme you see too, especially I think even small scale for a lot of the regular FBA sellers. We see this a lot where people only use Amazon FBA or eBay or reselling in general as a means to fund a bigger project they have in mind. Like I know for myself, I'm using all of the reselling stuff that we have going on here to ultimately build up into real estate. Like real estate's the game I want to be in. And I know that that's a big one for a lot of people. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all that Jeff just like, you know what, let's just cut some paychecks here and go fund our big projects they're working on.
Yeah.
Maxine. All right. This is a good one to touch base because this was 24 hours ago. I mean, it was Jeff Bezos and the insurance thing was pretty much all in the same 24 hours. So Chris, you want to hit on the insurance announcement that got dropped?
Yeah. So there was a screenshot of an email that got put out into the Facebook world. And then of course it got shared. I shared it. Chaz shared it. Everybody shared it. And it seems that someone got an email and said, hey, listen, you have hit the $10,000 in sales for at least 3 months. We now need you to prove that you have insurance. If you read Amazon terms of service, you need to have at least $1 million of general liability insurance. And so insurance is an old lifetime. It was a lifetime ago. So don't ask me, what exactly you need, but you need at least $1 million of general liability. And technically, according to the terms of service, you're supposed to have Amazon on there as an additional insured. Okay. So you want to make sure that that's in there and it's all in their terms of service. There's plenty of, there's Ashlyn, she knows exactly what people need. Now, any of the other things that you might want to get are optional. So you can do that if you want to. But the next question is are they going to roll this out, widespread? Are they going to, I haven't gotten an email and I've hit those numbers. Chaz hasn't gotten an email, and I know he's hit those numbers. So, how quickly is this going to roll out? And then I've heard other people say, oh, well, I had to prove insurance a long time ago. So we don't know what the deal is, as is usual with Amazon. They're not opening the kimono to let us know everything. So now we wait.
Pretty much. Amazon is not known for keeping us in the loop on much. It's just, here's an update. They did an update today, which was a huge benefit, but still, like, we had no idea it happened until we went to go use it. In Seller Central, as a prep center, we have user permissions for all of our client accounts. So in Seller Central, on the top towards the right middle, where it shows your name, there's a little drop down where you can toggle between US. If you're selling on Canada or Mexico, you can toggle between those. So us as a prep center with multiple clients, we toggle between our client storefronts using that same method. In the past, they would dump 8 to 10 different storefront names, and it would just be on multiple pages, and there was no search feature. So for us to log into a certain client account, we had to literally go through page by page and Control F and try to find that store. So the update they did was we now can toggle between those using a search function, which was game changer for us. It only shaves off maybe 30 seconds to a minute, but you guys know it's a game of volume at that point. But that's an example, like Amazon makes a change and an update that they don't notify anyone about. And especially with a big one like insurance, I don't see them, coming at it quick. It might take a few months. It might be here next week. Nobody knows. And I tell people this: you shouldn't wait for Amazon to tell you it's required. It's right there in TOS. And if you are running a professional business on Amazon, you should have insurance anyways, because we've all heard the horror stories of Amazon sellers getting mixed up, even with RA items. In OA, you can get mixed up in lawsuits and stuff like that. So just have it. And if you're using someone like we use and recommend, Ashlyn Haddon Insurance, we'll link up in the description all the information for her. And the average seller, it comes out to like $300 or $400 a year. $1 million insurance sounds like a lot, which really it's not. And it's pretty cheap to cover what most people need. So you can run through. She has a website you can get a quote from, all that good stuff. And she knows e-commerce. She specializes with Amazon sellers. So her agency will actually upload to Amazon for you. They'll send in the email that's needed. If you're going to go with more traditional, State Farm or a local branch for insurance, make sure that they know to add Amazon on that policy. And you can read up on all that stuff in the TOS.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your insurance agent will need to give you. It's called Sorry, I'm pulling out way back knowledge here. So you're going to need an Accord form that shows you, who the additional insured is and what limits of coverage that you have. And you really only need to show Amazon what they're asking for. You don't, if you decide to get a floater or an umbrella policy or, coverage for your inventory or anything like that, Amazon doesn't care. They just need to see that you've got those coverages in there.
Cool.
Bryce, what's going on, man?
Mr. Bryce Allard. Hockey night for the kiddos. I love it, man. All right. Should we dive in? That was kind of like the news of the week. So we're going to talk about everything OA. And there was a question on here. It's from Patrick. What's up, Patrick? This is a great one to open up with too. I'll ask on something that you and I have spoken on privately. What are your favorite tools for automated OA if you don't have a budget?
I have a clarifying question. Is that as in money is no object, or as in I'm broke and I want to spend as little money as possible?
I can tell you, knowing Patrick personally, he doesn't have a budget.
Okay. So, if that's the case, there's only so many automated money is no object. Okay. So if money is no object, if money is no object, then I would probably be running as many tactical arbitrage accounts as Alex will let you have.
Has there been anyone that he just has to say like, hey, you're cut off?
Absolutely.
Oh man.
Absolutely.
That's next level stuff right there.
I can't say who it is or anything, but there have been people who are like, you can't, because you've only got so many MWS keys, or you've only got, let's say that you and I want 3 accounts and I'm like, well, you know what? That's not enough. I need 3 more. Well, back in the day, it wouldn't be such a big deal. You'd get limited. Mm-hmm. But Amazon really doesn't want us running out our API calls. And of course, if, something like tactical arbitrage or inventory lab was running out your API calls over and over and over again, well, they tend to get pissed off at the developer, not the customer. Okay. So you would need multiple MWS keys to maybe run more than 3 accounts so that you don't get limited or anything like that. And there are some safeguards in there and everything so that, Alex doesn't get in trouble with Amazon. But I'd be running multiple accounts, and then I would probably have a team of virtual assistants who have been trained really, really well and go through training on a regular basis to make sure that they are staying up on what they need to do and what they want to find. And I would have them either move that to a buyer, or if you're the buyer, move that to you so that you're just, working on buying and they're just giving you great leads based on from them. So that's probably what I would do personally if I wanted to automate the heck out of an OA business.
Yeah, 100%. I would mimic that exact model. When we ran our OA list service, I obviously recruited a fair amount of VAs in the 4 years that we ran that service. And even if they came to me and said, hey, I'm an expert in TA, I put them through Chris Grant's TA Academy that he has put together. And this isn't, some like video to plug the Academy by any means. We do have an affiliate link if you guys want to support that. I appreciate it. Chris, I forgot what the affiliate link is, so Chris can hook me up with that after the call. But point being, I put them through Chris's Academy, no matter what their experience was, whether they were brand new or they were experts. They'll tell you they're experts on Upwork. Should never take their word for it. Train them yourself on how you like to do things, and then just automate that out. You get to the point where you'll have a project manager VA that is overseeing the whole team, and they're the ones in charge of you kind of have this filtering system, right? So this is what we did. We would have a filtering system of the team. At the most, we had 5 or 6 VAs on the team. So those 6 VAs would go out and source and hunt, whether it was manual sourcing or technical arbitrage. They would run the scans. They would do all this thing based on what I taught them was my criteria. And each morning they would filter through, let's say 100 leads. Those 100 leads would go to my main guy. And then he would filter those down to the top 20 or 30. Those came to me, and then I had the garbage already kind of pre-filtered out. Then I had my eye, which was a little more trained than they were. So I'd be able to go through and find the things that I would approve for. And here's the key is, if you do something like this, there needs to be a daily feedback loop. That's how you're going to improve a virtual assistant. Is you have to have some type of daily feedback loop. And trust me, especially if you're working from India and the Philippines were the best success that we saw with VAs. Those guys want to keep getting better. They are such hard workers. And we came up with a feedback loop where if I got my final list of 50 items and I only chose 30, I was highlighting and annotating next to it why I didn't choose it, so that my main guy was able to acknowledge that. We would have calls on a monthly basis to go over some of these main ones, why I would not choose that lead. They would relay that to the team, and it was just this constant feedback loop, and that's how they were able to get better and better. And like Chris said, if you get to the point of this gets into a trust thing, I didn't get there mainly just because I have control freak issues.
Me too.
If you want to get there, you can have your main project manager get to the point where they're doing the purchasing. And we know several people that have a VA team now with that same setup, and they trust their VA manager enough that they're purchasing as well. Of course, you're going through and checking those purchases after the fact, but they're still doing the purchasing. So there are ways to automate it, and it doesn't cost that much money.
Mm-hmm. And, one thing on that annotation part, when I had a lead list way back when, I would do the same thing, and I would highlight, we'd had a master sheet, and I'd highlight the ones I didn't like in red, and then I would annotate. But if I were doing the same thing today, and what I do with my own VA is when I don't like something, rather than just saying, I don't like this, the average price is off, I'll actually you get Loom, okay? It's absolutely free. And you can do, these quick 2 or 3 minute videos, and I'll show them. Here's what I don't like on the Keepa graph. This is bad. You see that the price, over the last 30 days may have been $40, but then the 90 days before that, the price was $10. So something's wrong here, and the market's not going to bear this price forever. And this is why I won't buy this product. A couple of really quick hits like that, and they're going to learn really, really fast. Yeah,
and that's actually probably if I were to say the most common mistake that I saw VAs make when they were doing OA for us was they're looking at the current price. So if you are going to work with VAs, just make sure they understand you want to be looking at the history of the product. So a lot of times you might have something as someone went out of stock or just a temporary price spike. So on your list, they might say you can buy it for 5 and sell it for 25. When in reality, if you look at the 90-day average, it's actually selling for 12. So that's probably one of the key points. We don't use any VAs. We got out of that kind of business model for now. So I do pretty much all my own OA work right now. That was a very common thing that we saw. So if you do work with VAs, make sure you're just relaying this information to them on what you want. If you want them to specifically look for specific things, you have to know how to do it firsthand. And this just gets into outsourcing 101. A lot of people, I'm sure, come to Chris too, and they ask, hey, I want to get a VA to do my OA for me. Where do I start? My response is always, how do you do your OA? Because if you don't know how to run a tactical arbitrage scan and filter through those results using certain filters or whatever your criteria is, you can't teach that to somebody else. You can't just hire someone who knows TA because they could be trained in a completely different sourcing method than you are. So learning yourself first, get really good at it, and then you can hand it off to somebody else.
Absolutely.
Sweet. That was a great question. Yeah. As far as, Chris mentioned it earlier too. I'm trying to think of any other tools. Even if you've got $1 million per month you want to spend on tools and resources, there's only so many. And the obvious ones are TA, virtual assistants, and Keepa. You run those 3 together in a system, like you really don't need much else. Rev Seller is obviously a really good one.
I would throw a Rev Seller on there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Chris won't promote his own stuff, but Rev ROI is fantastic.
Oh yeah,
for cash back. That's like the wheelhouse right there. You really don't need much else, and there's not a whole lot of other things out there. Those are kind of the top hitters.
Grab yourself an account at salesgazer.com. That doesn't cost a penny, and it'll let you know where the sales are happening. Mm-hmm. So if Target sends out an email, in the middle of the night tonight, well, you just got hit with 200 other emails from all these other retailers. Well, rather than destroying your own inbox, you can let SalesGazer do it for you, and it's searchable and all that stuff, and it doesn't cost a penny. Mm-hmm. So,
and that's a really good point to bring up too. Is a lot of people make the mistake of doing OA where they're just searching whatever site they're familiar with. So, guess what? 2 websites are probably the most scanned in tactical arbitrage. I don't know this for a fact, but Chris is in TA. Mastermind a lot more than I am. I would assume Target and Walmart, right? So a lot of people try to scan the most popular stores because it's what you're comfortable with. You don't know what any of the others are. So I would definitely recommend branching into new stores and not trying to just buy things that are at the current price. Make a list of items that, one, you're going to run into brand restrictions like you do with RA. Make a list of the different brands that you are approved for. Start finding different websites that carry those brands. Keep an eye on those. You can set different alerts in different ways. Chris can probably show you some Keepa stuff you can do with that. But I would be keeping an eye on those websites for when they have a sale. So if you have something that is normally priced at $10, it's not profitable at $10, but it's profitable at $6 or $7. Keep an eye on that website, set different alerts, and then when that sale happens, boom, you've already got your brands lined up, maybe even the products that you can go and snipe. So having a sales cycle is definitely something I've learned over the years to keep an eye out for, way more than just trying to scan random websites for the current pricing.
Mm-hmm. And one of the cool things you can do, and so I will say this: we've got an OA challenge coming up, and Chaz is going to have an affiliate link for that too, so I can give him a little bit of LaCroix money. So one of the things you could do with Keepa is, let's say, for example, that I want to go really big. I'm trying to think of let's just say I want to sell LaCroix. Like I've sold it in the past. I know it does well. I want to sell LaCroix, but I don't know, the lemon lime flavor is not profitable right now. Well, one of the things that you can do is you can say, okay, well, I know where I can get this, and I know that it's profitable at, say, $15. Well, now it's someone's job to go back and check that all the time. Well, you can let Keepa alert you when the price goes up now. We all know that Keepa would track things when the price came down, and there's even a Keepa deals section. But a lot of people don't realize that you can actually make Keepa tell you when the price is up to X amount of dollars these days. So if something is $12 now and you want to know when it's $20 again because you see that historically it sells at $20, you set that alert, you get that email, you get that notification on the app because Keepa has an app for iOS and Android now, not just Android. And you get an alert and you're like, oh, okay, perfect. The price is back up. Let me go out. Let me source this thing again and get it sold before some knucklehead comes and knocks the price down again.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And side tip, because Chris brought it up, if you did not know that there's a Keepa app, it's been out for Android for a while, I guess. iPhone user, so I had no idea. And I didn't know that they came out with the iOS version until like a month and a half ago. Took it in store because I've been hitting Walmart pretty hard over the last month. It has a scan button, just like your seller's app does. Like that feature alone, I will pay any amount for, because now in the previous times, if you're in a store, you want to use Keepa. If you're using the seller's app, I know if you're using Scoutify or one of the other ones, you could just click through and go to it. I was using the seller's app. You'd have to copy the ASIN, go to keepa.com on Safari, log in, and like your tiny little browser. Now you could just open the Keepa app, scan the barcode, boom, it has the product right there. And it's $17-18. There's a conversion rate that happens because it's an overseas company, but ends up being like less than $20 a month, 100% worth it. So get that if you guys don't.
Yeah, worth every single penny.
Somebody asked, can I do an in-depth class on BrickSeek? I will be doing a couple different variations. So if you guys are not familiar, Chris Grant will plug it at the end. Chris Grant does have the OA challenge starting on Monday. And I do every challenge so far. I've gone in there and done a full, we're in there for 2 hours live.
Yeah.
Show you guys my exact methodologies behind using BrickSeek. And they're live too. So it's me on a day. I'm actually going to go out to stores and I do it in the morning so I could show you guys exactly what I'm looking for. And I make my list live and I show you guys all the different techniques. And then I will be coming out with a paid, kind of like the masterclass theme. I will be coming out with something with BrickSeek, not for a while, but if you guys want kind of the inclusive version of that, then Chris Grant's OA challenge is the way to do it, because that's included in there with it.
It's actually, it is always one of the favorite parts. People absolutely love BrickSeek, the BrickSeek training. It's great.
I try. All right, here's a great question from Freddie. I have a problem with Target because placing orders after orders. Do you guys have a better way? What's your take on multiple orders from websites like Target that aren't so friendly with that?
So here's the thing about Target, and I hear a lot of people say, oh, well, Target banned me, or I'm going to get banned from Target, et cetera, and so on. I have ordered thousands of units from Target, and I've never been banned. So here's my opinion, okay, based on anecdotal evidence, is Target does not want you ordering 300 video games when they're buy one, get one free, and you have a 20% off coupon. Okay, I mean, it's a loss leader. They're losing money to ship that item to you, and you're going to tick them off. So they're going to ban your account. However, I have literally ordered at least 1,000 units of one product that was a product that never goes on sale. It was just a regular grocery item, and I'd say twice a week for maybe 3 months, we would order. We do 5 orders of 100 units, which was, we could get 20 units per order. We do 5 a day, twice a week for several months. Okay. I never got banned. I never got limited, nothing. They didn't care because I was paying a full price for the product, but I needed it. And so now there are some sites I've been banned by, like Kat Von D, and I've been banned by a few others. There are some that they're just going to ban you. Move on, go to the next one. Mm-hmm. If you really want to learn how to set up, throwaway accounts with new addresses and new credit cards and all of that stuff, But personally, I would only do that if it's like a large portion of my income. If I'm buying something from a store, I don't know, once a quarter, and they ban me, I'm just gonna move on and not deal with it.
Yeah, for sure. We've got a similar story too. I spent probably like 15K within 30, maybe 45 days on Target alone, right at like when Q4 kicked in. Some of those were the Black Friday games that they were having on deal too. What I did was, because I didn't go crazy deep on any one product. So that's my first recommendation is like, if you are going to go deep, do what Chris did and just order smaller batches. Obviously, if you put 99 in the cart, if they let you, that's where they're going to start looking at you. So smaller batches definitely helps out. But I was able to get away with spending like 15 grand. And I know that's not much for a lot of people. For us, that was a lot of money to spend on one store within, 4 to 6 weeks. And I got away with it because, one, I didn't go deep on any one thing. I was only ordering between 5 and 10 units at a time, depending what it was. And what I did was, if I wanted multiple orders of the same item, which I did several times, I waited till I got the shipping confirmation and then went back and did another order. So that way it's not just flagging the account as 3 or 4 orders back to back in the same hour. I waited for that shipping confirmation, which Target was shockingly excellent at quick shipping from the stuff that I was ordering. And it was like 10 p.m. at night is when I would see those notifications come through that my order shipped. So they were doing some overnight shipping somewhere. But I would wait till like 10 o'clock when those orders would start to fulfill. And then I'd go back in and place another order. And then those would ship out like the next morning. And then I'd go back in and do it again. So that's how I was able to get away with it. Yeah. And I think Target's probably one of the only ones that you will possibly face issues with if you do that type of volume. And it's one of those things, like, I don't hit Target too hard until it's like go time in Black Friday. That's where I go pretty hard on Target. So I'm only bulk buying like one time a year for a month. Mm-hmm. And it's very easy too, because I got a phone call last year when I did this. Last year it was a smaller budget, so it was like 5 or 6 grand I spent. But I got a email that they disabled the 1% cash back from Target, the Target Circle. I'm like, oh crap, they're gonna like flag me down now. And there was a link to submit to basically open a case. So I opened the case. I actually got a phone call. So I got the phone call from Target for the My Circle thing. Mm-hmm. And they just asked me the same question that you would get asked in any case is, well, it looks like the system flagged you because you're ordering so much of these few products. Do you mind if I ask why? And I said, well, I'm just stocking up for Christmas. That's why I love ordering right before Christmas season, because it's so easy. And you can do the same thing with retail arbitrage. If people are asking you why you're buying so much, well, I'm just stocking up for Christmas, which is not a lie. You're stocking up for Christmas just for other customers. So that's why I usually try to do that. Like I do it right up front, right before Q4.
I do typically try to be honest, but I have gotten the question in a menacing tone before. Why do you have 32 Barbies?
You monster.
Right. And so, when I feel like I'm getting, cornered, I will say, oh, well, my wife has 12 brothers and sisters and all their nieces and nephews. And so we have a large family to buy for. I really hate doing that, but man, that one works really well. And then of course they're like, your wife has, 11 siblings. That's insane. I'm like, yeah, it's crazy. I don't know all their names. So
that's like my Oreo cookie club I came up with. Did I tell you that story? We talked. Was it you I talked to? I shared it live one time.
I don't think so.
There was a seasonal Oreo that came out, so I went and got like 70 of them. And of course, it's just a giant load of Oreos in this Target basket. And I roll it up to self-checkout, headphones in, because I do not want anyone to look at me. I just get my Oreos and get out. But sure enough, someone had to ask the question. It wasn't the employee. She couldn't care less. She was standing behind me. She kind of eyed like, okay, he's got a lot of stuff, but she didn't say anything. So she was chill until the person next to me was like, what are you doing with so many Oreos? And that's when the employee looked over like, what are you doing with so many Oreos? And so without hesitation, there was like a 0.5 second delay from the time that was asked till the time my response came out, which was I run a cookie club where we all are in charge of going out and getting different seasonal Oreos that we then get together, play video games, and share them with each other. Straight face, and like she had no response. She didn't respond. She just went back to checking out. But that became my theme. And then I did the same thing when I bought out. There was 8 or 10 copies of a video game in Target one time that got clearanced out. It was like literally $5, and they were selling for $30. So of course they're in the hard cases too. They were kind of in their like not clearance section, but they have the discounted end cap of Target games. So I got all 8 or 10 of those, brought them up to the counter. Of course, I'm like, oh crap, here we go. So I used that same thing because it worked the first time. And the guy's like, what do you need so many for? He was like 19-year-old kid. I'm like, I run a gaming club and I'm in charge of finding copies of this one that I can then give out to my friends, and then they're hunting ones for me. And he's like, all right, that's chill. So he then asked me what the name of my gaming club was. And I came up with something stupid. It was like, blah, 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 game club or whatever. This was a couple of years ago. But so that's another one you guys can use too if you're out doing RA, is you own a club of whatever you're bulk buying. Mm-hmm. And for some of you, that might be weird, depending on what you're buying.
Yeah, that could be real weird.
Rick, I think I got flagged on the Vans website yesterday. Great topic right there is how do you know when you are going to get flagged or banned or whatever the case is? Simple. They're going to start canceling your orders. Mm-hmm. Some of them will straight up just tell you like, we're not going to fulfill your orders from today forward. Just depending on who it is. Yeah. Cancel orders is the big one.
About once a quarter, I am on the phone with the nice lady who handles Walgreens fraud department. So about once a quarter, I chat with her.
Oh man, is it the same person?
Yep, usually. She's
awesome.
Been there for a while.
That's beautiful, though. You get to know each other on a first name basis. That's great.
Yeah.
Maxine, you could say for most items, company-wide gift as well. That is super smart. I didn't even think about that. I might have to use that one. As long as the item isn't too strange. I'm getting flashbacks of some of the weirdest shit that I've bought before, and that would not work.
Yeah, we sold this product once. It was called fur oil, and it's one of the strangest product we've ever sold. It was a moisturizing oil for the hair down there.
Oh my gosh!
We bought it for $50 and it was selling for like $180. It was the stupidest thing ever. And I may that may be a little high, but I mean the price difference was insane, and it was flying off the shelf. And I'd never heard of it in my life. It was crazy.
Well, I had to pin this one. What kind of club should I have told the Walmart lady ringing out 30 pairs of latex gloves? There should be no explanation needed on that one. You just look at her when she.
Yep.
You could say, "Well, I run a private club."
Yeah.
And then just look.
Or ask where they keep the cleavers. You know.
Oh man, it's so great.
Someone had a question about, does Keepa alert you about the sale prices of other websites too?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so that is a no. Keepa is straight Amazon data, and I mean, if you think about it, I don't think that they necessarily have the bandwidth to go tracking other sites as well. They're tracking pretty daggone close to 1 billion products across all of Amazon's marketplaces right now. So the scale at which they have to work and also stay ahead of Amazon from keeping them getting their data, they've got a pretty full-time job with their developers.
And there you have it, folks. How many units realistically could you purchase monthly with OA?
I think the only thing that keeps people from going to infinity is A, a budget, and B, time.
Mm.
You know, so if you had, so like I know a guy who's a reformed lawyer, and he's doing like $3 million a year, 100% OA. Okay.
My gosh.
Yeah, that's a super solid business. And every time, we talk, he's like, all right, how do I scale to 5 million? And it's always the same thing. Like, you're going to have to step back. You're going to have to build out a bulletproof process, and you're going to have to duplicate yourself. And hopefully you go work on other things. So, you could go wider, you could go deeper, all those kind of things. I don't think there's necessarily a limit. Amazon, just in the U.S. marketplace, you've got, I don't know, 300 or 400. It's like 380 million products tracked by Keepa. There's actually more in the catalog that are not tracked, of course, but there's 300 million and some tracked products in Keepa. Even if you just kept in the top 1%, that's a ton of products that even if 10% of those were profitable for you, you're still pretty close to what? 30, 40, 50 grand, I think, 1% of 1%. So I don't think there's a way for anybody to tap out unless you, have like seriously infinity money.
Mm. Yeah, no, I would totally agree with that. We have clients that are doing 3,000 and 4,000 units a month through the prep center, 100% OA. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they're using us as a prep center, they're doing very minimal work because some of these guys have teams of VAs. One of them in particular is having the VA now purchase, like I mentioned earlier. So you think about the seller, there's minimal work. The VA team is sourcing, the main, purchasing agent is purchasing. The seller is going to review those purchases. As long as those are green, they're sent here. Then it's turned around. They take care of some of the back end work. That's a pretty solid business model right there. But yeah. We see 2,000 and 3,000 units from multiple different sellers. And that's super large for a lot of people, but that's a fraction of the potential. Like Chris mentioned, someone who does 3 mil a year, 100% OA, it's all systems. Like, no matter how you want to dice it up and scale any business model, it's all systems. It's the same thing as like we're contemplating scaling into the warehouse next to us that's opening up this next week. We have a potential to absorb 1,800 extra square feet. So we're running the math on, okay, how many more people do we need to hire? How many more clients do we need to recruit that do X amount of units per month? So we're already thinking about, it's not just about me prepping more products. I could go in that extra 1,800 square feet and just myself get a couple thousand more units out. But that defeats the purpose of building a business, which most of us, I believe, want to build a business so that we can control our time. And we don't control our time if we're doing things like prepping, right? So we're already in that mentality of, okay, what systems and numbers do we need to bring into life to make that extra expense worth it? Because it's $1,600 a month. So it's not bad on rents, pretty average rate around here. It's just a matter of, do we bite the bullet and do the 1,600? And, the answer is no, if we're not going to scale it with a team, with systems. It's the same thing a lot of people make the mistake of not thinking about in your own business. OA, RA, PL, it's all based on systems. You can outsource so much inside of this whole Amazon realm to make your life way easier. Yeah, Patrick knows what's up. Patrick runs a huge operation.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I talked with this guy. Like, I was so pumped. I remember we were talking on IG, and I was so pumped. We did our first 20,000 unit month, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, we did that last week." Like, there's always so much more room for growth in this whole industry. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, I know guys personally. I know a guy doing 3 million, and I know another guy who does wholesale, and he's like, he'll have a $1 million month, and then I hopped onto a chat the other day just to listen in and see if there's anything I could glean, and there's 2 guys speaking in this clubhouse room, and one of them's like, oh yeah, I manage a business. We did we did 100 million last year. And the other guy's like, oh, that's really great. He's like, last year I did 169 million. And I'm like, that's a serious flex, bro.
Oh, man.
And he's got 242 virtual assistants, 80 employees stateside. He's got a massive operation. Guy here out of Florida, and everything is systemized, and they've got processes, how they bring things to market, and he's just kind of like, he seems like he's the idea guy, and then puts all the wheels into motion and lets everybody handle things. But 169 million, holy crap.
And I can imagine too, even in his shoes, those are crazy numbers to people like us who are still, at like level 1 compared to that level. But I can imagine in his shoes, he's still thinking like, man, we have so much more room to grow.
Oh yeah. Like
there's literally infinite possibilities if you build out the right systems. And obviously you got to have cash flow to support all that. Freaking Patrick did 17,000 units today. That's insane, man. But it's the same thing with Patrick, like runs a massive prep operation, and still like Patrick's told me like, yeah, man, I want to grow. I want to scale. Like there's infinite possibilities. Just depends how much you want to go. And it all needs to be based on, you guys have to understand what you want, right? I talk about this often, which is a lot of people lack clarity on what they even want. A lot of people love the idea of running a 6-figure business, but maybe you'll be totally happy just running 20K extra for the year for profit, and then you guys get to take that and pay off some debt and go on family vacations. Maybe you have no desire to do this full time, because it's a freaking grind, man. Any of us who do it full time will sit here and all tell you like it is a grind. You've got to have a next level self drive to make this work long term, working for yourself. That's just self-employment 101. That's not just an Amazon thing. But yeah, systems in place will make your life so much better.
I saw a great Andy Frisella had a great IG story, and it was a guy who's reading. He's got a book in his hands, and the title of the book is "How Do I Become Successful?" And on the inside of the book, there's one word in big bold letters, and it just says "work." It was great. Now, okay, I'll tell you what. Let's change gears just a little bit, and I want to bring up something that's really been weighing on my mind lately. And maybe it's because of the book. I'm reading something by Ryan Daniel Moran right now. And he talks about, bringing brands to life and private label type products. And so, but of course, I'm always thinking about it in the arbitrage space. And he breaks it down. I do some of this math as well for folks. But he breaks it down. If you have 5 products doing 18 sales per day with an average sale price of $30, that gets you to $1 million. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I think that you can do that with OA, not necessarily the onesies and the twosies that, we find doing retail arbitrage, or, we get 6 of this item on a sale. But you're digging a little bit deeper, looking at things like multi-packs, looking at things like bundles and stuff that isn't such low-hanging fruit. I really think there's some opportunity out there for some longer-term plays in the OA business, where you're selling one product for, 2 or 3 years rather than 2 or 3 months. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I'm really going to try to flesh that out over the next 6 months and really try to maybe change not only my mindset, but the mindset of everyone else to like, here's the new way to do OA. Here's how we build ourselves a saleable business, a saleable asset. And we're not just building ourselves jobs for ourselves and our virtual assistants forever.
That's so key. There was a time when it's like, I just went out and hustled RA. So I know you had the similar background too. It's like, if you're just out hustling RA, like, yeah, it's you create a job for yourself. Mm-hmm. If you guys haven't read the E-Myth, I talked about this last week. I would highly recommend you do not touch another YouTube video, read another article, open up Facebook until you read E-Myth. and you can wrap your head around that because they talk about this in the book. But a lot of people just create a job for themselves. Like, yeah, it's your business, but without you out there hustling it, it doesn't exist. If you're not out there buying product, if you're not doing the shipping, if you are the solopreneur doing all of it, it's not a sellable business. You've just created a job for yourself, which is fine. A lot of people are happy doing that. It's better than going and working for the man most of the time. But point being, yeah, again, it all stems down to your systems. You build systems in place and get that going, and that's how you end up scaling it to a sellable business. Big difference between like we had Dylan Carter fly out to Florida. Hello,
Hi.
You gonna join in? Trista's waiting for me for something. No. But we had Dylan fly out, and he was one of our speakers at our event that we hosted, and he said something that just clicked for us.
What was it?
It was when he said there's a difference between running a business and a company. And that in our current position was like, damn.
Yeah.
Because you can go from like solopreneur to owning a business to owning a company. Like there's different phases. And we've been teetering between the business and company phase. And that was like an unlock for us, just mentally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Never thought of it like that. It was like.
And things changed when we got back.
Yeah. It feels wrong as a business owner. I'm just going to jump in. TED Talk. No, but as a business owner, it feels bad or like wrong to work on your business and not in your business. It's a total mind. Like you have to retrain your mind to be okay with not being in the day-to-day technical work and be more okay with getting outside of that and working on things that will grow. So crazy.
There's the cameo of the night.
Bye. No, Chris, I'm just putting Charles on the spot because I've been trying to get him to take a vacation to Florida.
Literally before we hit live,
we just talked about that.
Oh, good.
He told me where he might want to go. I said that I would spring for the ticket from there to Orlando. I'd even pay first class, so that we could do some YouTube stuff, and I could pick his brain for a day or two.
That'd be so much
That would be cool. It's a boys' trip. We're not coming. It's just he needs a break. So
yeah, absolutely. Come on, man.
Now he's got internet accountability.
I never thought I'd be in a position where I have to be forced to go fly somewhere and take a week off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, you guys have a great night. I'll see you later.
You have a post-it note where you're going to tell me something?
No, this is just my to-do list when I get home.
She was standing behind the camera looking at me like, how much longer you got?
No, it's a disaster out there. I'm so sorry. Goodbye.
I'll make sure it's clean and locked up. Thank you. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Oh, man. All right. I guess I'm coming to Florida. I'm taking a week off.
Let's do it.
That'd be so much fun. All right. Shifting gears.
This is one of my favorite questions.
Yeah, it says Facebook user on live stream, but it is Mr. Patrick. Since we shifted, could you suggest some things to read? I usually spend my evenings in a book winding down from the day. Love the breakdown, Chris. Makes it more simple to look at. Chris recommended on a live stream, you were telling me about Atomic Habits. And I did get and read that within a few days after that show. So Atomic Habits, top of my list. Just the 1% difference that you make. And it reminded me of this, maybe you've seen it. It's not a meme, but it's, a photo of these guys doing suicide drills on a football field. So you got the line, you go down, touch the line, and then go down the field. And it says the difference between a champion and being average. And you see one guy that sprints down, he touches the line. So it shows him touching the line. That's the photo. And then you see the guy next to him who's like an inch away from the line, touching down on the ground and then turning around. And that's the difference between a champion. That's what that book reminded me of, was just that 1% makes or breaks the difference between good and great.
Absolutely. Atomic Habits, absolutely must read. The One Thing is another one.
That's a Carmichael, right?
That is, who is the founder? Gary Keller is the One Thing.
Okay, I think it's a different one. I'm gonna make some of my own notes because you have phenomenal reading.
The E-Myth, or the E-Myth Revisited, whichever one you want. Hopefully we don't lose Michael Gerber in 2021. He's a national treasure.
Have you watched his YouTube videos?
I've watched a few.
Yeah, after reading E-Myth, I'm like, I want to know more about this guy, and then you get to hear him speak. Like he said things in some of these YouTubes, there's seminars that were recordings from back in the day, but some of the things he said 20 years ago just like hit home for where we are today.
Absolutely. I'm I don't know, almost 3/4 of the way through 12 months to 1 million. The book title sucks. It's a very spammy book title, but Ryan Daniel Moran breaks down some things in here that are really, really good. Every year I ask people that I trust and on Facebook, hey, what should I read? So this is my first half of the year reading list. One book that everybody should read for mindset, in my opinion, is The Daily Stoic. It's 1 page per day. It's by Ryan Holiday. It has Stoic philosophy every single day of the year broken down a little bit, and it's excellent. I just finished reading. What book is this? I just finished reading The Talent Code by Daniel Coyle. If you have kids, read this book. It's not a business book. It's not a parenting book, but it's about the role of something called myelin in growing our brains and how to grow talent. And scientists say that there's this. Well, never mind. We could get all nerdy all night, but this is an excellent book.
That one's called The Talent Code.
The Talent Code. Yeah,
right, I'm writing that one down.
Trying to think what else people should read. There's so many. I'll have to make a list. I'll have to make a list. I'm really excited to get into Misbehaving, which is all about psychology. If you're gonna make any of your own listings on Amazon, I would definitely suggest that you learn about the psychology of buyers and what makes people hit the buy button, because it's more than just a customer saying, oh, this has good reviews and it pulled up on Amazon. There are going to be other things if you really want them to hit the buy button. You want them to be able to, you want to solve their pain point. So there are a couple of reasons people buy. It's either to solve a problem, solve a pain point, to be more comfortable, or to make themselves like feel good. And I think there's one other one I'm missing. But learn psychology and why people buy, so that they'll hit the buy button on your products or your listings, and that kind of stuff. So
have you done some type of like blog post, which is like my top 10 recommended reads for this? Could even, I'm just going to brainstorm with you here. You could even start some type of monthly, depending how many books you're going to bust out per month. It sounds like you're on track. Like I committed to one every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like you're kind of on that same pace.
Yeah.
So that was an idea I was kind of tossing around the back of my head. I realistically probably won't actually sit down and do it. So here you go. Just an idea for you if you want to run with it, but make some type of like, this month in review for my reading and give out, the 2 books that you read and your highlights of them. I should do that. That's definitely something because you always give phenomenal recommendations. I would absolutely subscribe to that.
Yeah. There's so many good books and I don't know. For me, a book it's great to learn what someone else is thinking, but for me, it really, whenever I'm done reading, it always makes me take something from what they've said and how to apply that to the things I'm currently doing. And that's where I really think the power of reading comes into play. I don't really have any. I don't have any good ideas. All my ideas come from books. So.
All of us copy everything we know from somewhere, whether it's a YouTube video, whether it's an article, a blog, a book. We all just like piece together these things that we heard or saw or read, and mold them to create what we do. Hey, Reseller Book Club.
You say that, and that's actually another really great book. If you guys want another one, it's called "Steal Like an Artist" by Austin Kleon. That one is a fantastic book. And Pablo Picasso said that I think it was something like "Good artists mimic and great artists steal" or something. But there are ways where you can steal, but do it in an ethical manner and make things better. And great artists, that book, "Steal Like an Artist," is all about that. It's excellent.
Nice. Bryce asked, does Audible count? 100%. Especially, like, you have to know your strength. I, for the life of me, want to do audiobooks so bad for the simple time aspect, because I could listen, theoretically, I could listen to an audiobook while prepping or while doing other things. I won't retain any information. That's just how my brain is wired.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm physically reading a hardback book, like, it's in my brain, man. I do not forget things. If I'm a visual and physical person, so I know some people thrive on audiobooks because they hear something, it sticks. So if you are that person, then go for it. Like Bryce said, he's a terrible reader, so don't read, then do audiobook.
Yeah. So I read, when it comes to business books and nonfiction, I read because I retain that better. But business biographies, there's a great book called "The Fish That Ate the Whale," which is about a guy by the name of Samuel Zemurray, who started the United Fruit Company back in the early 20th century. There's some really great takeaways from that, and it's a business biography. David Goggins' "Can't Hurt Me" is excellent on Audible. The podcast episodes he does in between every chapter make the book so much better. And then like Shoe Dog on Audible, some of that's actually read by Phil Knight. Those are just fantastic books too.
Nice.
So I have a problem. My wife is like, "Hey, what do I get you for Valentine's Day?" I'm like, "Hey, I got a bunch of books." She's like, "Nope."
Yeah, it's a good problem to have, though, because people like myself, I spent years not reading, forcing myself to do it, and now I've made it into kind of just a daily habit, 10 pages a day. Until this year, I was doing 10 pages a day for 75 hard, and that got me back in the habit. And now it's been a month, just over a month since I finished that program. So I took like a week off, kind of got back into some routines that I was doing on 75 hard, and now I'm in a routine of I want to do a book every 2 weeks, so 2 a month. So I'm having to do like 20 and 30 pages a day. It's tough to sit down and tune everything out and focus, but so far I've been on track with it.
That's awesome. Yeah, 30 pages a day it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard, but it's worth it.
Yeah, it's investments.
All right.
So there's your book section of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. If anything, go read some of those book recommendations. You'll get a ton out of them. And then I've got a few minutes here. If you guys want to drop any OA questions below. Chris, any other major OA sections? There's so many rabbit trails we can go down with this stuff. Anything burning on your mind lately you want to share?
Yeah, I think we're going to be in for a really interesting and cool 2021. I mean, sans like some huge return of COVID or who knows, a meteor or whatever. 2021 has not been kind so far, and so but once everything catches up, logistics, USPS, UPS, FedEx, and all of that, and Amazon, of course, I really think we're in for a really some continual growth. Amazon. So one source says 142 million, one source says 150 million Amazon Prime subscribers now. That's a huge milestone. Wow. That's like almost every single mailbox in the United States. I think the average household's like 2.3 people. We have 338 million or so people in the United States. So 150 million is almost every single mailbox in the U.S.
Jeez.
I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was either MasterCard or Visa said something like 20% of their customers had never bought online before, this pandemic. And then as a follow-up question, all of those people who bought for the first time in 2020, around 60% of them said that they're going to continue to shop online.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen the rapid growth of what stores call BOPIS, buy online, pick up in store. I think resellers have a huge opportunity there to find products online. And, let's say, for example, that I've got a team of VAs who do online arbitrage for me at stores that allow on in-store pickup. You got Walmart, Walgreens, Target, Office Depot. I mean, tons of them do it now. And we can, rather than, wait, we can take action the very next day, go grab the items, merchant fulfill them, or send them to Amazon really, really quickly if you're doing prep and things yourself. We leveraged the heck out of this in Q4, being able to turn things really quickly before anybody else got the products because they were having them shipped normally. So I think that's a huge lever to pull in 2021. And buy online, pick up in store is probably going to get better, faster, even more convenient. Heck, at Target, you don't even have to go inside. You just pull up and they bring it right out and throw it in your car and tell you to get out of there.
The best part with that too is they bring it out to your car. Okay, thank you, bye bye. Yeah. And then, so it's not awkward. Wait for them to go back in the store, and then you just get out of your car and go find more in the store.
Yeah,
so tag team those. That gave me an idea just now. I should try this. Get a VA to do some sourcing specifically for in-store pickup. Give them access to your Target account or Walmart, wherever. And then you wake up in the morning and they say, hey, just so you know, there's 5 items in your cart that are not checked out, but those are available for pickup. Do you want to cross-check those, make sure they're profitable? So you could get to the point where you have a VA doing that, and then you just go check out, and then whenever you get that email to go pick up, you go pick up.
Yeah. I think there's huge opportunity there because, I mean, let's say something goes, something gets hot. Well, we know that, I don't know. Whatever. Lady Gaga Oreos have tanked by now. Everyone's gotten on them. Okay. But if you were the first to it, and you bought online and went and picked up in store, you could have MF'd those things really, really quickly and made a ton of money. Whereas anybody who may have had them shipped to their house from Target or Walmart or whoever, chances are you're out of luck. You're going to be lucky to break even. I think
on that early, he shared after the fact, but he got on it early enough that he got 12 packs. So he went out and they were $2.99 per bag or something like that.
I think so.
$190 a pop for the 12 packs he was selling them at.
That's crazy.
All MF, like you buy them, list them the second you get out to your car, and they're sold by the time you get home. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
But yeah, and that's where you like. It's so tough sometimes. I do find OA deals where I'm like, I know this is probably going to tank, but if I can find it in store at this price, I know I can get it shipped in like today. So sometimes you got to weigh out which option is best, or you do the RA method. You can quick flip it for the ROI you want. And even though you have to accept a lower ROI, you can then do the OA purchase. So you at least sell up front, and then you have the OA stuff that comes in 3 to 5 days later, and then you can turn it around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thrift school. Been a while, man. What are you guys doing about the toy category needing most of the items having safety forms submitted now on Amazon? I know I got hit with 30 or 40 of these things because we sell toys is one of our main categories. So the ones that we've sold through and are no longer replenishing, we'll just delete them. And then that safety issue was cleared on those ones. For the other ones, we have reached out to the brands themselves who can typically give us, not all of them will, of course, but we can at least ask them to give us the information that we need to submit. And Chris, Do you sell many toys? Have you seen that much?
Nope. I'm actually really proud of this. 2020 was the first Q4 that we sold 0 toys.
Wow, congrats, man.
Thank you. It was amazing. I love the toy category. I probably could have sold a ton of them. I mean, that we've done the TJ Maxx and the Marshalls game pretty hard in Q4. We could have probably just crushed it, but I was like, I don't want to touch toys this year, and we still had a very fine Q4 without it. So I actually have gotten none because I haven't sold a toy in 6 months.
Holy cow, man. That's craziness, especially coming from you and I have definitely hustled a few Ross in our day.
Definitely.
It wasn't this last Q4. I think it was a Q4 before that. You and I were hitting each other up like, hey, keep an eye out for this one. Like Ross was fire for 2 Q4s in a row.
Yeah, it was.
You just walk in there, fill up carts full of good stuff. It was awesome.
For weeks on end, we were renting U-Hauls to go pick up Nerf guns and doll houses and all kinds of stuff for Q4. I mean, it was incredible. Just absolutely crushed it. And this year, I have no idea what was hot at any of those stores because we didn't do a single one.
Yeah, I hit Ross for a couple items. There were some Fortnite legendary figures that were floating around. Those were pretty solid. Depending if you quick flipped them, some of them tanked. But yeah, those are pretty solid. I didn't go around too much. So I definitely sold toys, but fortunately I didn't hustle RA too much for him. I did a couple OA, which of course ended up tanking. Most of the prices came back after Q4, and I was actually good with holding out. So I've actually held inventory a lot more than I typically do. But I've actually seen really good results from doing that. So I tell people this too, if you're short on cash, so funding your business for your inventory, don't play the hold and wait game. You've got to just quick flip, get your cash flow going. So we did that. And now that we have a little more capital to play with, we had some wiggle room to hold on to a certain amount of inventory, wait for all the low ballers to sell out, and the prices came back up. And we were able to cash out that way. But we have a couple toy suppliers now wholesale that we've been doing very well with. So we just that worked for us. So we leaned more into that. So that's pretty much where most of our toys are coming from.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Bryce, Pokemon. I don't know if I want to drop this live yet.
No. Don't save that, dude.
I'm going to save it.
Save that.
I'm saving it. There's Pokemon. Let's just leave it there. Hopefully I will have the sale of my life.
Oh man, dude, I'm so stoked because I know the inside info.
Yeah,
I can't wait till that video drops.
We're gonna leave it at that. We're doing a video on it. Through school, I have about 150 active items that have the form that needed at the moment. So I'm trying to flush those out now. I probably do 4 to 6K a month in sales in just that category. Yeah, definitely delete the ones. Just close out the listings and delete those that you're not selling anymore. Those will clear off. I actually saw them the next day.
Nice.
Shocked, but they cleared off the next day. The rest of them, I don't know if there's a workaround or a better way. I've been emailing the brand directly and saying, hey, do you happen to have this certificate? I haven't heard, I just sent those out a couple days ago, so I haven't heard back on any of them yet.
So I wish I could take credit for this, but this information comes from guys like Bryce and people in my VIP group that I think I can share. Bryce has talked about deleting items that you don't sell anymore, and Chaz just talked about that. Reaching out to wholesalers if you've got wholesale contacts, going to the brand website and reaching out to them, maybe a chat function or an 800 number. But see, the thing about those CPCs is they don't legally have to give them to you. They legally have to have them on file, but they don't have to give them to you.
Especially if you tell them I'm an Amazon seller and Amazon wants it, slim chances.
Yeah.
Online distributor is the terminology I use.
So, but yeah, best of luck on that, because I don't know. And the other thing is I do know some people who ignored them through Q4 and nothing happened. So is Amazon Bryce pops in another good one, cpsc.gov. That's a great resource. But I know of other people who have told me that they ignored them through Q4 and nothing happened. So is this some wide net that Amazon is casting, hoping to get all of this, information in case they get audited by the government again? I don't know.
Not that I'm saying you shouldn't do anything, but I actually have not heard of anyone getting in trouble for not providing it yet. Not saying you should just ignore it altogether, but I've yet to see, and you see that with Amazon stuff a lot. You hear a lot of talk about different things, but I've yet to see any actual negative side effects of not doing anything about it.
It's another example of where Amazon really needs to work on their communication with sellers.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
All right. Any other OA questions or anything? I'm happy to chat as long as people will have us.
What's up, Melissa? How are you doing? Hopefully, Melissa, she's just north of us in the Seattle area. Hopefully, she's doing okay with the rain. I'm not. I'm ready to head down to Texas now. I need some sunshine up in my life. And I guess now I'm getting kicked over to Florida for a vacation, so I got to hit you up on logistics for that one.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Tara? I've been watching you for a few months. I almost missed this. I don't have tax exempt status yet. New seller listing in progress. Do you enter tax price when listing the cost? That's actually a great question, is OA and tax exemption. To my knowledge, Walmart does accept it, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep. You got to, I can't remember if it's online or if you have to reach out to their customer. So I want to say they have an online form or something. But yeah, they accept it. Target's not going to accept it. There's a lot of other places, Best Buy, Home Depot, Lowe's, those kind of places. They all have it. There are going to be some that they don't accept tax exempt. But I would always reach out to the customer service of the website if you can't find a form or something like that, and see what they do if they take it. But do you enter your tax price when listing the cost? So for me personally, if I do pay, first of all, I send all my online arbitrage to Network Prep in tax-free Oregon. And so I don't have to worry about that. But if you can't do that and you do have to pay tax when I'm listing the item, yes, that goes into my cost of goods sold. Just like I'm paying for it's just part of the price.
Yep. And I can confirm that all of our clients that are using Network Prep, which is a prep center, Oregon is tax-free, so no one has to worry about that. If they're shipping to a tax-free state, you never have to worry about that with OA specifically. But anyone I've talked to that is paying sales tax, then they do include that in their buy cost. I don't know the benefit of not including it and doing it accounting a different way, but as far as I know, everyone usually does.
The only thing I could think about in doing it as a separate line item is maybe if you want to keep track of it, if your state reimburses sales tax, if you're tax exempt. But I don't know. I've never done that. Even I think Ohio would offer that, where they would reimburse you for any sales tax that you paid on items for resale that should have not been taxed. But I don't want to deal with the government any more than I absolutely have to. So it was just a cost of doing business.
I went into this is Mr. Jonathan Swart from ilovesupplies.com. Not even an affiliate link. We just love their poly bags. We burn through thousands of them a month, so I definitely recommend you go check them out. He said, I went into the store locally as they said I needed to use our home Walmart to have a physical tax exempt file on record. So that is good to know. I am super spoiled being in Oregon because people always ask me about sales tax questions. I'm like, I don't know. Never have had to pay it. Like, we have people come to Oregon that are Nike sellers just to load up on thousands of dollars of Nike because they don't have to pay sales tax. They literally save hundreds of dollars depending on how much volume that they're buying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Has anyone graded video games before? Yes, I have. I I mean, you guys can't see a ton. That actually goes up quite a bit. So when I built this wall, I had my desk at a standing height, and I didn't really pay attention to the fact that I'm going to be sitting a lot more. So I didn't put any shelves on the bottom part, but those are all games I'm going to be sending in to get graded. So we use CGA is the company that we use. It's depending on the one, like depending on platform and stuff like that, or not platform, console. Wow. Platform. Depending on the console, the type of game, blah, blah, blah. We usually just estimate about $100 to get it graded with shipping costs, because you have to do, they get you on shipping. We had to pay like $24 for something. It should have cost like 12, especially being in logistics now. I'm like, I know how much shipping rates are. So yeah, I plan on $100 to grade a game, depending how fast you want the turnaround time, etc. And that's worked out pretty well. But CGA is the one we use. Wata, I don't know how it's pronounced, but WATA is I think the other popular one. I haven't used those guys. Honestly, I don't know if one is better over the other. I just like the way CGA looks. Or not, wow, it's not CGA. That's card grading. VGA. Getting my GAs mixed up. Video Game Authority. So VGA is who we use. CGA is for card grading. Getting those completely mixed up here. I like the way that the VGA little header looks versus the WATA. I think the WATA one looks super cheap, so I prefer VGA. Oh man, Gold Zelda from NES. Is that sealed? Damn. You can grade completed used games. If you've got the original box and all, you can get that stuff graded.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I didn't know that until I got into kind of like the collector side, but you can grade used games. And you can make some money doing that if you want to buy and sell and collect and stuff like that. Man, the sealed market is nuts. I just picked up my buddy Ryan, not a reseller. He's literally a local friend of mine. He hit me up. He's like, hey, I got back from my parents' house and I found this in a bin.
Oh, wow.
He had. I told him, like, bro, I'll give you $400 right now. So he brought it over to the warehouse. I PayPal'd him $400. This is probably $800 right now. Like, if I wanted to cash out, this is probably $700 to $800 right now. It is, I kid you not, the cleanest, best condition sealed game I've ever touched.
That's awesome.
Mint. So I plan on cashing out at a couple thousand, depending on how much the grade comes back. I'm not selling it anytime soon. But that's just like a little insight into the grading side in the sealed market. So that's why I've been just stockpiling some of these games. Like one of my favorite ones, Please Don't Fall. Not because it's the most expensive, but it's
that brings back memories.
Sealed N64 Yoshi story, and this thing is in awesome condition. I copped that one for $200. And that was like 8 months ago. I don't even know the value on that right now.
I feel like an idiot for not buying every single sealed game that I ever came across when I was out thrifting.
Oh man.
I feel like an idiot.
Yeah, like I was talking to my dad when I was over at my parents' house last night, and because I was telling him about some of the Chris knows, but I was telling him about some of the big plays that we're getting ready to make, and he's like, man, if I would have known. I told him, like, a lot of these people wish they can go back in time and do sports betting and yeah, you can make money doing that kind of stuff. I'm like, I would get storage units and I would fill them with sealed Pokemon cards, sealed N64 games, Game Boy. Like, I would just buy all the sealed everything I could and just stockpile in storage units for 20 years and then cash out. It's just freaking crazy. What's up, Mr. Paul Beagle? I know he's in the sports cards, right? Paul and I haven't really talked one-on-one before, unless it was a while ago. I don't believe, but I believe, Paul, you own a card store. I'm trying to remember, right?
I think that's right. I think I saw him say, I'm friends with him on Facebook. We're not close or anything, but I think I saw him say that he even did like an online auction or something of sports cards recently.
Yeah. Paul, you and I should chat. I got a I got something I'm doing. Can use some guidance on. Wow.
Yeah, and that's another thing that's absolutely gone nuts lately is, sports cards.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like rich people ran out of things to collect and put their money into, and they're like, oh, let's get back into baseball cards.
dude, that's just nuts. Okay, cool. Yeah, Paul does own a shop. That's amazing. I should hit you up. Like I've told Tristan, my side hobby when we get down to Texas and like open our warehouse and everything's running smooth. I've told her like once we're good on an automated business that I don't need to spend 8 hours in, like I want to run a gaming store and collector store. Like that would be such a fun hobby for me to run. I don't even need to make a dime. It's just to fulfill my nostalgia. Yeah. And stuff is coming back. Maxine said the Twilight fan base has exploded. Any merch from that time sells anywhere between 500 and 300 now. That's a market I've not looked into at all. There's so many different markets like that too. And like this does tie into OA as well, because guess what? Aside from my buddy Ryan hooking me up with this one local, 100% of all the sealed games that I will make a crap ton of money on were OA. Yep. So there are plenty of OA opportunities even within, I mean, you get into like Pokemon and sports cards, like if you can't, I mean, RA, good luck. You got to catch those restocks and wait in line usually. But Pokemon, sports card, retro sealed games, all these types of markets, 100% OA. You can do so well with if you know where to look, how to set your alerts. This might be something that we can toss into the OA challenge as like as a little bonus. I can share some of the ways I got some of these games.
I may be hitting you up tomorrow. I'll build that extension. I'll build the extension for you at my cost if you show me some of those moves.
All right. Sweet, man. Cool. All right, Chris, thank you so much for your time. Chris is starting the next round of the OA challenge, which many of you are probably familiar with. If you've been on the fence, like go to Chris's OA challenge website, and he's posted up some of the testimonies that have come out of this. Look at his personal Facebook page. He's been posting some of these up. They're not paid shout outs. They are 100% people that have taken the challenge, that were on the fence, that got something out of it that helped them make money. I'm going to be in there doing an updated live BrickSeek training. So it's not just a recording. It is me live taking your questions, showing you for 2.5 hours exactly how I use BrickSeek, how we have made tens of thousands of dollars profit with BrickSeek. I'll dive in there, show you guys how to use that. Now we're getting into like, I'm not an expert by any means, but I can give you a little bit of tips and tricks on how I have found some sealed retro games using OA methods. And you're not going to walmart.com and buying this stuff. These have been not made for 20, 30 years. But yeah, we'll dive in, show you guys a bunch of fun stuff. So Chris, you want to take it over, lay out what's the OA challenge if someone's never heard of it?
Yeah, absolutely. So the OA challenge it's 14 straight days of live, in-person, socially distanced, of course, content that gives you as many nuts and bolts and tools that we can to make you dangerous with the art and science of online arbitrage. One of my favorite testimonials is that someone said, "I feel like Chris just gave me the game genie to keep up." I really think that's the hallmark of the 14 days.
And that starts the header of the website.
Right?
That is amazing.
We do 2 full days, and I say an hour, but you probably really better put on your calendar 90 minutes to 2 hours every day, because we go over everything super in depth, and I make sure that every single question gets answered. We don't stop until you stop, or you tell me to stop. And that's one of my favorite parts of the training. But then we go over tactical arbitrage. We go over manual sourcing, both regular manual sourcing and what we call reverse manual sourcing. And we'll show you how to do all of that. We've got Q&A sessions. We go over all the tools and automations that you can use in the business Chaz comes in and does Brickseek. We've got ungating guides. I just threw in Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour ungating guide. We've got grocery, toys, topicals. There's a bunch of things. Yeah, if I have time, there's going to be a few more kind of surprise bonuses that come out too. We've got free extensions. You get Rev ROI for life. You get OA Highlight for life, and you also get to network with your peers and people who are going to be your peers, and that is actually probably one of the most profitable parts of the challenge. I know that there have been businesses that have been born out of the OA challenge. There have been friendships forged in the fires of the OA challenge, and people have come together and helped each other, and it's been an absolute ton of fun. So it's a good 14 days. We are taking Valentine's Day off this year, though. I don't want any of the guys who are going to show up to get in trouble. So we will be taking Valentine's Day off, and that'll be a catch-up day.
Nice. Yeah, so if you guys want to get plugged into that, of course, we have a link. It is an affiliate link, so if you choose to support that, we do get a small commission kickback, which is much appreciated. Helps keep pushing everything that we do here on the channel for you guys. I did see a question I want to answer because I had the same question when I first got back into it. That was not it. Come on, StreamYard, where'd you go? I can't find the question. It was, how do you get back into Pokemon if you've been out of it for a while? I came from like most people, which was 90s collecting of Pokemon cards, and that was it. The base set was all that was around back then. And then after my teens, I still have my binder of the base set. My sister currently has it, but it's safe. But I didn't touch Pokemon again until like 6 months, 8 months ago. Would highly recommend you get started with Evolutions, which are these. So Evolutions were a 2016, basically a reprint of the base set cards. So all your base set cards that you are probably familiar with if you used to do Pokemon are going to be in this, plus some cool new variations of different ones. Pokemon Evolutions right now Pokemon in general, but Evolutions specifically is on a second wave right now of attention. So right now is a great time to get into this specific set, whether you're going to buy and sell the booster packs, or if you're going to break these open and sell individual cards, or if you just want to collect. I'm doing a little bit of both right now. I actually just realized I don't have to be home for like another 40 minutes. Right after we're done here, if anyone wants to hop back on, I'm going to take a 5-minute eating break. I actually have like 100 of these left I need to open. I'm going to open up like 25 or 30 of them live.
Nice.
So if anyone wants to take a quick 5-minute breather after this, I'll be right back on this channel again on a new stream and break some of these open with you. We can talk more about that stuff. That's what I would recommend, though, if you're getting back into is Evolutions is the market's up, but it's still a fairly inexpensive way to get back into it. And then they've got tons of other new sets.
That's awesome.
I would do a quick plug for our Evolutions breaking that's going to happen here in a bit.
Absolutely. So yeah, and I'm sorry I missed your PM. I'm not on purpose. I just I've gotten a lot of them today. But yes,
you mean you're busy?
if you have taken the OA challenge before and you want to retake it, there are 2 ways to get in. Number 1, we have a special rate for alumni. I cannot give out the code publicly, but I can give out the code privately. It's a 75% off code.
Nice.
But you don't get a book. You don't get Chris Green's 400-page book because we've already sent you one. If you are a current paying VIP member, we have an online arbitrage VIP group. If you are a current paying VIP member, we allow any current VIP member to join any OA challenge for free, as long as they are a member. So we've sent out an email to all the alumni with the code, but I will get back to your message before I leave the computer tonight, and I'll send you that code.
Nice, man. Sweet. Well, hopefully everyone got all their OA questions answered. Of course, this is not the only time we'll have Chris on. He's just a wealth of knowledge, and we mesh well. There's a lot of guest speaking events that all of us do together where it's like sometimes it's just not the right collab, and Chris and I get along phenomenally. We've done a lot of business together as well. Like Chris was talking about, like just the simple fact of networking with each other. Like Chris and I have literally made thousands and thousands of dollars together. And that all was stemmed from just simply networking with each other. Like we weren't, I didn't message him. It's like, hey, I've got this idea. Let's partner up on it. Like it just kind of naturally occurred. And you guys can have those same type of interactions with each other inside of a challenge group, which we can all agree you can't build those types of relationships in free groups. You can't do them through YouTube, like Instagram, a little bit. But when you get inside of this environment where it's a camaraderie that's born, you guys are on the same mission together. It's a game changer, and some great stuff is born out of it. So I would highly recommend you take a hard look at doing this. It's an investment in your business. Tax write-off, by the way, if you did not know that, just tax season coming up, that was on my mind. So take a hard look at it. If you have any questions, you can reach out to myself or Chris. Chris with the logistics questions, since it's his group. And if you guys have any other questions as far as OA, both of us are available for you guys. If you guys want to check out 25 or 30 evolution packs getting ready to be broke in the next 5 minutes, I'll take a quick break, come back, go live again, and we'll hammer some of these out because it's only 7 o'clock on the West Coast and I got some time to kill.
Nice.
So Chris, thank you so much for your time, man.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate you.
No problem. We'll see you soon.
All right.